James Melendez, James the Wine Guy. We're going to talk about bourbon whiskey today, so stay tuned. Great love and great fondness for bourbon whiskey. It is a fantastic all-American tradition. So we're going to talk about bourbon in general, which is, when you think of bourbon whiskeys, it is a great art form, and it can only be an American art form. That is, let's say you can only have champagne from France. Same thing with bourbon whiskey. It can only come from the United States. It can't come from China, Japan, Australia, Spain, etc. Only from the U.S. And so the name is even curious. So you look at the name, Bourbon is from the French royal dynasty, and the name itself is probably for the name of the whiskey style. It's either derived from the Kentucky county named Bourbon, or perhaps on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. Now, the name was not applied until about the mid-1800s. Now, there are no operating distilleries in Bourbon County. There used to be, and that's because as Bourbon County in Kentucky was much larger, and it's subdivided into other counties where there were bourbon producers. But that shouldn't detract from the beauty of this art form. Now, when you see bourbon on a label, you'll see right here, so it'll say Kentucky bourbon whiskey, and it says it very clearly here, bourbon. You can never put this on there unless it's approved by the USTTB, which is the Alcohol Beverage Control Authority, if you will. So there are 6 legal requirements. Number 1, must be created in the United States. I did mention that earlier. Number 2, a grain mixture of at least 51% from corn. Number 3, aged in new charred oak barrels. And number 4, to be distilled no more than 160 proof or 80% ABV, alcohol by volume. And number 5, entered into the barrel for aging at no more than 125 proof or 62.5% ABV. And number 6, bottled at 80 proof or 40% ABV or slightly higher than that. And so that's the beauty of this art form here, is it must meet those requirements. Then you enter into each of the provenance of the master distillers and their view of a bourbon whiskey and what it's going to be like. And so there are many great art forms, and the center of gravity, if you will, is still in Kentucky. So you do have other bourbons being created in the United States as legal requirements can allow for it to be created. But the heart of this universe, if you will, the bourbon whiskey universe, is centered in Kentucky, and it's a fantastic art form. Something that I think often you're going to see. There's a lot of mixology going on, and bourbon is included. And that's a wonderful thing, and it's very definitively noticed, and I think it's a wonderful provenance. But I also enjoy this as a sipping beverage too. Really contemplate, enjoy, at evening's end after a wonderful dinner, after the beautiful quality of conversation with family and friends, and to know that this whole tradition is really from the Europeans. And when you look at the 12th century School of Salerno in Italy, you have brandy being made in Germany all around the same time, as well as Irish whiskey in the 12th century. In about 1494, you do have a Scottish friar who gets a royal warrant, and it's registered in the Exchequer list, and showing that is really the first point of Scotch being created. And then you have it coming to the U.S. in terms of colonial movement, and so then you have this tradition in Kentucky and so forth. I look forward to you joining me on this journey. Stay tuned for more. List your questions and comments down below. I'd love to know, what are your favorite bourbon whiskeys? And please list your questions and comments down below, and let's stay connected. I'm on a variety of social medias: Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest, LinkedIn, as well as Instagram and WordPress. Thank you again for watching today. Stay tuned for more. Salud.